Okay, accredited versus not accredited. That is the question. Okay, let me first introduce myself. For those who may not know me, my name is Tam. I have been homeschooling for 10 years, and I used to work in college admissions at 2 of the top universities here in Georgia. Glad we got that out of the way, so you know that I know what I'm talking about, hopefully. So the main question when people are brand spanking new to homeschooling, once they've researched their laws, they've done their first round of due diligence, is like time to select a curriculum. And when it comes to selecting a curriculum, a lot of people get hung up on the word accredited. It's like this this magic word that means you're doing a good job, except it isn't. So when it comes to something being accredited or not accredited, for those of y'all with a shorter attention span, I want you to just think schools are accredited, curriculum typically is not. That's it. Now, when it comes to whether or not you should pursue an accredited or unaccredited program, aka school or institution, whatever the word is you like to put in, that is 100% down to personal preference. It has no bearing on whether or not your child will eventually be able to get into college. Sorry to burst your bubble. Like it's it's not going to be the determining factor of whether or not your kid gets in. It just isn't. So I'm going to show you guys some examples because I never want you guys to just purely take my word for it. I want you to see for yourself what I'm talking about. And by all means, do your own research. As always, do your own research. So let's start with everyone's favorite college, which is Harvard. I'm just going to show you their own admissions page when it comes down to whether or not your kid is homeschooled. Can your kid get into college and Harvard? Yes, they can. There's no special requirements. They do not require your curriculum to be accredited, and your child's application will be treated the same as any other child's application. At the end of the day, it does not matter whether or not you use an accredited curriculum or not when you are applying to college. Now, when you think accreditation, I want you to, again, think accredited means school, not curriculum. Case in point, Khan Academy. You would be hard-pressed to find a school in this country that does not use Khan Academy in some way, shape, or form, but Khan Academy is not an accredited school. It is a curriculum, it is a resource that you can use in addition to your school or with your school, but it is not in and of itself accredited. One example I really like to draw people's attention to when it comes to discussing accreditation is the fact that this particular county here in Georgia lost their accreditation back in 2008. It was a huge scandal when this entire county lost their accreditation. But I want you to pay close attention to this particular line where it says it had nothing to do with academics when they lost their accreditation. It was more or less how the school was being run, basically. They had other violations, but it had nothing to do with the curriculum that was being used. And this particular county, they lost their accreditation in 2008. It wasn't fully restored until 2011, but they did get it back on probation back in like 2009. But anyway, it had nothing to do with the curriculum they were using. They lost their accreditation based on how the school district was being managed. This is probably my favorite site for bringing home this point of accredited versus unaccredited, and it happens to come from ABECA, which is an extremely popular homeschool curriculum. Now, what you'll see first and foremost on this particular site is they're comparing their own accredited academy with other popular homeschool accredited academies. And they know that most people are going to zoom in right here on the cost when it comes to comparing, but I actually want you to scroll down a little bit further. When it comes to determining whether or not ABECA is accredited or not accredited, you'll see here, it's just these last 3 things that stand out as what makes ABECA accredited, and that is the transcript or report card, the diploma, and the standardized testing. All other things are the same. And you can scroll down even further to get a more detailed comparison of whether or not the accredited program or the unaccredited program is going to work best for you. But notice, a lot of this first bit is the same. When it starts to come down to things that make them different, it's really just based on record keeping and how the program is managed, because the academy is a school and the curriculum is not. So please, I beg, do your own research when it comes to this sort of thing to determine whether or not it's going to be the best fit for your family. But at the end of the day, accredited just means school. Non-accredited just means curriculum.